This is what should be done by one who is skilled in goodness and who knows the path of peace. Let them be able and upright, straightforward and gentle in speech, humble and not conceited, contented and easily satisfied, unburdened with duties, and frugal in their ways, peaceful and calm and wise and skillful, not proud and demanding in nature. Let them not do the slightest thing, and the wise would later reprove, wishing in gladness and in safety, may all beings be happy. Whatever living beings there may be, whether they are weak or strong, omitting none, the great or the mighty, medium, short or small, the seen and the unseen, those living near and far away, those born and to be born, may all beings be happy. Let none deceive another, or despise any being in any state. Let none through anger or ill will wish harm upon another, even as a mother protects with her life her child, her only child. So with the boundless heart should one cherish all living beings, radiating kindness over the entire world, spreading upwards to the skies and downwards to the depths, outwards and unbounded, freed from hatred and ill will, whether standing or walking, seated or lying down, free from drowsiness. One should sustain this recollection. This is said to be the sublime abiding, by not holding to fixed views, the pure-hearted one, having clarity of vision, being freed from all sense desires, is not born again into this world. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Very good. All right, so I guess we're going to have a little bit of a introduction to meditation. Meditation is an interesting thing. It's something which we all have to be beginners in meditation. Even for me, or any of our monks who've been monks for a long time, and we are so to speak, professionals in meditation, we always have to be beginners. We don't get too carried away of saying, I know what I'm doing. You don't. If you do, the only thing you have to do is disappear. So the only thing you do is not to get involved, but sometimes the better attitude is really, I'm not sure what to do, so I just go with the flow. Just be interested about your meditation. Whatever happens, happens, and it's nothing to do with you. It is just what happened today. Everything is just cause and conditions. So whatever happened to you during today, however your body is, however your karma is today, it is actually what you're looking now in your meditation. So the best thing is not to get involved too much with it. As Ajahn Brahma always teaches us, you should look at the meditation like you would be looking at a screen in a movie theater. He gives this beautiful anecdote of when he used to be younger and he used to go to movies in London, the cinema, and he said everybody used to smoke there. So you would see the smoke arising, and you would be in this hall and there's this kind of blue smoke everywhere, and you see behind of him the beam of light coming from the room behind where they used to have the projector. And he goes up into the screen, but the projector is behind us, right? Whatever is projecting us, it's actually the past karma. Or the past karma, in a sense, it is actually the right way to use the word karma. Vipaka is the one we're experiencing now. So whatever you've done in the past is the work you are now looking at. That is the vipaka. That is the result. So there is karma and vipaka. So when you're looking into this mind of yours, whatever comes up when you're meditating, just think of that is past. Whatever comes in the future, that again is nothing to do with you, because you are now doing the karma again. So there's karma from the past, you're doing more work now, and then whatever you do now then gets projected again in the future. So meditation in that sense changes your karma, hopefully for the better. If you're resisting, if you're fighting, if you're angry about your mind, if you are trying to hold some mind states, you are actually creating that kind of karma. So what do you think is going to happen if you are angry about your meditation? You are angry about the past karma. What do you think is going to happen for that karma? You are multiplying that old habits, those old things you have done. You're making worse karma out of it. But if you are at ease with it, so to speak, if you can relax with it, give loving kindness, those kind of good qualities, they will grow then. So now is the time to make karma which is good karma, not add into this bad qualities, so to speak. So just keep in mind, don't get involved when you're meditating. That's the best course of action. If you need to do something, try to do letting go. It's a bit of a strange way of looking at it, but every time I was taught in the past, I remember living in New York, I went to all these different kind of meditation groups. I got really excited when I first got into the meditation, and so I started to go all to these different kind of groups, and it was really exciting time for me. I was still young, living in an exciting city. I ended up there, and finally I found this thing, meditation. And everywhere I went to, all these different groups, whether it was Vipassana groups, whether it was Tibetan groups, whether it was the Zen meditation, whether it's Theravada meditation, they always tell you, do something. And what you are doing, if nothing else, they tell you, go back to the breath, go back to the breath, go back to the breath. And why don't we teach that? What's the difference between us and all of those groups? We teach you not to do anything. Well, then what's going to happen? Where is the breath going to appear? How will it come if I don't go looking for it? The interesting thing that when you stop looking for something, the mind starts calming down, and you start seeing those different things. Like I said, that the past actions come, but when everything starts calming down, mind always goes to an object which is moving. So if you have a TV now in front of you, or if you would have a TV in front of you, and I'm speaking here, your mind would be always going to the TV because it's more interesting. It's meant to be moving a lot faster. Like for me, here in the monastery, we don't see that TV that often. We don't see these kind of advertisements. We're not used to this kind of fast-moving objects. So for us, it's almost like a repulsive. Like once a year, I have to go to a shopping center or something. Somebody takes me there I have to go for lunch or somewhere. And for me, these shopping centers are just horrible places, honestly. It's like so many colors, so many noises everywhere. Everybody's blaring out music, and it's bad music, just to begin with. There's so many noise, so many smells coming from all these shops, and everybody's like pulling attention, right? All these different shops, when you're walking around through the shopping center, everybody's trying to pull your attention to their shop. So the best course of action is just to start ignoring those shopping center, little shops everywhere. Just put your head down, don't pay attention. Okay, go back to the story of in New York. So when I was in New York, I go to these different kind of meditation groups, and they always tell us, go back to the breath, go back to the breath. I tell you, don't go back to the breath. It sounds counterintuitive. How do you meditate like that? Meditation is supposed to be breath meditation, right? This is what I teach you. Everybody's teaching breath meditation. What's wrong with us? Aha. So, here's the key. Mind always wants to call an object which is moving. So it's the music in those different shops, it's the noise, it's the smells, it's the all the different colors, the brightness. Something is going to be interesting. They pull you in. But if something is static, we don't pay attention to that. So, for example, in this room, if somebody would have turned on a fan, it's actually really hot here. If somebody would have been kind enough to turn the fan on, after a while, I would not notice the fan, because the fan noise is static. You can pay attention to a static noise for about 3 seconds, 4 seconds, but after that, there's no way you can pay attention to that. The same way, if you don't pay attention to those busy shopping center, like those things in your mind, so to speak, they start disappearing. They don't exist for a while. And the mind is starting to look again for an object which is moving, which is not static. So it keeps going things. So what happens? There's thoughts are coming, like a cloud in the sky, and it's like appear from seemingly nowhere, right? When you start sitting, all those thoughts come again. Do they come from ether? Do they come from nowhere? No. You go looking for them. You go looking for these thoughts of like, oh, this is what I want to thought. Think. You pay attention to those thoughts. You want to pull them in. And then you pull them in, you hold them for a while, make something of it, and then you start making more of that. So you keep doing this kind of, you're actively doing it. It's not like they come out of nowhere, you are actively doing it. But if you don't pay so much attention to that, if you sort of devalue it, is a good way of looking at it. If you devalue those things, nothing to do with me, it's not really a problem. Like, okay, I can see that thing coming again, but it's not so important. You're devaluing it. It's not like, yuck, I push it away, I don't want it. That's a different way. Then you're doing something. But if you just sort of like, yeah, my mind is just stupid, it just does that thing again. I've been thinking that, I've seen that thought so many times. Not interested. I'm not getting involved with that. Devalue things. Devalue your thoughts. Then they don't stay so long. And when they start disappearing, again, the mind needs an object which is not static. What's the last thing which is moving when the thoughts disappear? Or they start disappearing? What starts coming out of that quiet space? What comes off is your breath. So the breath appears because it is the last thing which is moving, or it is always moving there. So that's why the breath meditation is interesting. The breath appears from that quiet place. It is not something you really do. It is something which is interesting. It is like that TV. If you have the TV playing, you can't keep your eyes off it, because it's interesting. It's moving, it has sounds, it's all kind of like it's keep changing all the time. That's why you go for that. So try today, even if you don't believe me, today, let's try it. Who cares, who gives a damn if it doesn't work out? But at least you give it a shot. You've been taught a different way, and there's all these other teachers tell me otherwise. Yeah, who cares? Doubt about your doubt. Do something differently once, at least. So today, let's try not to do things. Hang on, did I just say it correctly? Let's don't do anything. Whatever I said, ignore it. So don't go looking for the breath. The breath, if you have this habit, I had this habit for a long time, and I had to find a balance with it, because I was always thought, go for the breath. So I kept doing that. The mind starts coming down, and I was like, I'm going to start doing this. I need to go for the breath. I need to go for the breath. So I always had this thing where I kept holding on to that. And another key thing here is, don't hold on to things. Do not hold on to things. Don't hold on to the breath. Why? When you hold on to the thing, you are being too aggressive. If, on the other hand, you are a person who is has this attitude of ease, kindness, softness, the breath stays there very softly, gently. If you try to hold on to that, you're doing this kind of aggressive meditation. You're actually doing something what the Buddha always said against. We should not do anything aggressive. That is against the Buddha's. We just chanted the loving kindness meditation. It's an interesting thing, and it took me a long time to start seeing it, that there is tiny bit of aggressiveness there when I'm hold on to that breath. For my dear life, hold on. Oh, mind starts going, so I go hold on to the breath. That was maybe, I wasn't being that aggressive. But once you start seeing these subtle things in your mind, you actually notice that there is actually frustration there. There is aggressiveness of holding breath that way. If the breath appears on its own, if it wants to stay with you on its own, let it be there. That's fine. And then from that, the quietness grows. The contentment grows. The moment of that breath stays with you longer. And then it goes disappearing, and you was oh, I should be holding. So oh, stop yourself. Stop it. Okay? Mind went somewhere. Give it leash. Give it a long leash, so to speak. Let it run wild for a while. And then it goes wild for a while, and it's oh, I have my friend there. You are the friend. You have a good, nice, peaceful attitude. It wants to go back to you again. Just relax. What are we here to do? Nothing. So let's try to meditate that way. Just this once. You start holding on to the breath, you got the habit. Just don't get involved. If the breath really is there, that's the thing what it was difficult for me, because took me a long time to see where is this subtle holding on, because I started to get into the habit of it started to appear, the breath started to appear, and I started I'm probably hold on too much, so I just let it go. I'm not paying attention to that. So where is this kind of subtle middle way, so to speak? Where is it? Well, we need to learn that. There is going to be a subtle middle way where we just sort of be with it, but not hold it. We need to learn to recognize that thing where the breath is there, but we're not holding it. It will be there, and you start maybe doubting now that I said like, oh, don't hold on the breath. Am I holding on to the breath? Just don't doubt yourself too much. Don't get involved with it too much, this kind of doubting mind. Again, it's another form of activity of where you're doing things. So if it's there and there's a little bit of holding, well, don't care. Don't worry about it so much. Just learn to be in this kind of like uncertainty. We need to be... Uncertain is a good word. Learn to be in the place of uncertainty when you're meditating. Like I said, we're all new here. We don't know what we're doing. We are just learning to be in the space. Okay, I think that's enough. Whether that's for half an hour or not, I don't know. But let's try to meditate and see what happens. All right. So, everybody stretching good? Let's go stretching for a while. Move your neck. Neck is always holding up your heavy head all day. Move your bum, your back. We won't be meditating for long, but anyways, you want to be relaxed. Make sure your clothes are nice and soft. Nothing is pressing too much. And then when you feel relaxed, nice way to bring your attention to your body is to breathe into your stomach for a while. So close your eyes. And just breathe in a little bit deeper than you would normally into your tummy. And when you're bringing in the fresh air, think how nice it is to be alive and to be able to come in contact with this kind of beautiful teaching like meditation. How precious it is to be a human. And then you're going to have gratitude towards your feet. How beautiful feet I have. They've been taking me here and there all day. Let your feet relax. They've been doing so much for you today. Same with your stomach, if again you bring your attention to your stomach. How nice it is not to have stomach aches. How nice it is to relax for a while. Quite often we carry all kind of nervous feelings in our tummy. So whatever nervousness you have in your tummy, try to relax it, let go of the world, the worries of the world from your stomach. Just breathe in relaxation into your tummy. And breathe out all the worries and anxieties from your stomach. Same with your back. Make sure your back is nice and relaxed. Whatever the natural position for your back is. Starting from your lower back to your middle back. And all the way to the up in the shoulders. Just breathe into your whole torso from your neck down. Just feel your body breathing in and breathing out for a while. And then with your neck, holding up your head, the heavy head all day. Sometimes our neck is a little bit too far ahead, so move your neck a little bit backwards if you feel that aligns the neck better. And again, if you feel your shoulders, your right shoulder, allow the right shoulder to droop on a little bit more. The right shoulder is being pulled down by the right hand. Let your right shoulder relax, relax. And same with your left shoulder. The left hand is almost pulling down the left shoulder. Relax. Relax. And both of your hands are resting quietly on your lap. And all your body from the neck down is sitting in this beautiful sea of quietness. The water is almost holding up your body. In this beautiful space of quietness, where the body can just take care of itself and find its own posture. And then if you feel your face, or the muscles around your face, just have a content face. What would you look if you would see yourself in a mirror? And you would look content. Even if you don't feel like you want to be content, you have worries, just don't worry about it. Just imagine being content no matter what. You're almost in this own bubble of yours. Anything outside of this bubble doesn't matter. This is your world for a while. Sure, there's sounds and things outside of this bubble, but you are content here for a while. coming close to the end of the meditation. One more time, invite the breath to stay with you for a while. Now, move your attention back to your body. Notice those good things, what has happened in your body. Does your body feel a little bit more relaxed than it did when you started meditating? Does your body even feel maybe healthy? And if you look at your mind, does your mind feel a bit more relaxed, at ease? Have you been able to let go a bit more? I will bay now the gong 3 times. Please listen. All the 3 rings, and then you can open your eyes. And that is the end of the meditation. Thank you so much. And now is the time for the questions, complaints.
It's not really a question, but it's like, I don't feel like the approach works for me. I think it has to do with, I experienced quite a lot of violence in my early childhood years, and then like my household has a lot of violence all the way until I am like teenagers, and I feel like not doing anything does not work for me at all, because I feel like if I don't do anything, my mind will go to some very dark place, and then I will start to dissociate, and then I think like I need to do something, like I need to pull my mind back and to tell myself that it's a safe place. Does it make sense? Like it's a safe place for me to be here, and then yes, and then I need to let my mind and my body knows that like it's a safe place to be, and then I feel like not doing anything does not really work for me. And if I don't pull myself back, I will feel like, I don't know how to describe that feeling, but it's like it starts to anyway. But yes, so I think it may have to do with like the stage. I don't know. Just my thought.
Yeah. Sure. I mean, it's difficult. We have those strong emotions. Whether it's those kind of worries, traumas, lust could be a very strong thing what comes up in the meditation. And if you don't pull yourself back from it, you disassociate. Well, sometimes we have to, it's perhaps in the beginning of the meditation you have to do something like that. But for you, in order to really go to the deeper stages of meditation, some point you have to be able to let it go. I'm sure sometimes you need to do active doing, and it perhaps has to be a few years. Maybe you have to do that for 10 years. But have in the back of your mind that eventually you have to be able to let it go and trust that you are in a safe place. So that's something, I always say meditation is something, it shows you what's in your mind. So at least you're doing something positive because of, you're doing something positive for your mind. Because if you were like most people who never dare to look into their minds, you're no wiser than you are when you had those traumas. You carry them around everywhere. So that's part of the mindfulness and meditation practice. And so work on it. Sure, it might take long, but have in the back of your mind an idea that eventually, even this thing, the worry or the anxiety or the disassociation, I have to be able to just stay with it and not get involved. But it might take a long time.
Yes, I think for most of the time I just listen to my mind. My mind asks me to pull it. My mind asks me to pull it back, then I pull it back. Yeah, that's
sure. Well, I mean, what else can you do? You know, you are your mind. It's hard to be separated from that. And you didn't hear the bell, so I'm going to ring it again. Here's the bell now. Can you hear it now?
No.
What?
No.
Still no?
I think Zoom has the thing that it will filter out something.
Oh, it's a Zoom filter. That's weird, isn't it? Okay, so it's Zoom fault, not my fault. Okay. All right, anything else? All right, who's doing this? Well, Marco, I guess you could, because you had your hand up.
Thank you, Ajahn. This was the first time I stayed awake the whole meditation.
Wow.
In a long time.
Congratulations. That's a lot. That's a lot.
That's a lot. And it's been easy. My body has been in an easy condition for about 2 or 3 weeks now. So I'm getting the body really relaxed. and I'm not falling asleep. And now this was the first time I had the whole meditation that I didn't fall asleep. I was able to listen to that clock ticking, the washing machine doing its thing, and at the same time being very calm in my own mind. They were there, but they didn't induce sleep in me like they usually do. And I was wondering, could it be so easy not to do anything, or is this just something, a one-off thing?
Hard to say. It could be one-off, but I doubt it's one-off. I'm sure it's going to happen again. I think if you have the contentment, there's more energy in it, and we had that. It's many places mentioned in the suttas that have energetic mind, and sometimes it sounds like we somehow bring the energy like, oh, I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna be energetic this time. I'm gonna stay awake. But energy actually comes from positivity, and contentment is a positive state of mind. So if you just if you have contentment, or any other however you want to call the positivity, the mind is naturally bright, and happy mind is energetic mind. Happy mind is bright mind. So maybe you just had, you were just in that content today. So I think that could be the case. Yeah. So work on, it's good to work on that. If every time you sit down and you just want to fall asleep, well, perhaps it's something you wanted to escape for a while. It could be you're tired. I mean, it doesn't matter so much, but work on the contentment side. Yeah. Did we have Simran from Indonesia? Did you want to say something?
Ajahn, thank you so much. I actually found that this meditation was extremely effective for me. For a while, I didn't understand necessarily what it meant to progress in meditation, but I really felt it today. And oddly enough, I really resonated with what you said about how our mind wants to chase what's moving. It was very odd, but at some point I just started doing metta meditation because that's what my mind wanted to do. But then even because the chanting, wishing well became repetitive, then my mind moved to the breath because that was moving more than the static nature of repetitive chanting. So that was interesting. But I have two clear questions for you. The first one is that I've noticed when I meditate and also in daily life, I become extremely sensitive to anything that disturbs me, to the point where I feel physical pain in my heart. For example, if I'm meditating quite clearly, focusing on my breath, and then my mind starts to follow some thoughts that may be disturbing it, it actually causes deep pain in my heart and it's throbbing. And I was wondering if you had any advice about that, first of all.
Okay, for the first, right. It's hard to say because we all experience things differently. Quite often, I've heard, and I've experienced myself that I get a bit teary sometimes out of no reason. You, whether it's inspiration or you think of, usually it's something positive. You get somehow a bit more emotional. You get teary about things very easy. To have kind of physical symptom to come of the world because of meditation, I wonder, why is it because of meditation? Why is it because of the mindfulness practice? Why are you more sensitive? I don't know why that would be the case, but if that becomes too much, that you become too sensitive for the world and it manifests as a physical thing, then you have to physically actually be with that object, wherever it's manifesting in your body, because the body and the mind are very closely linked. So whatever is in your mind, it's the body showing it. So you see it, and so what I would say, find the place, don't just say like, oh, it's somewhere in the chest. Well, or in the heart region. Try to find really the place, like where is it? Where is this kind of thing manifesting? And honestly, just touch that thing. Because I would just really take a week, take a 2 week, really, like, is it again in the same place? Is it the same place? Try to find it. Yeah, I can feel it. It's that spot. It really is that spot there. And then when you really, really know the spot, then do something with it. Give it, actually touch it. Give it kindness. It's in that spot. It's in that exact spot. I can feel it. Now I can do something about it. So don't make it into a big monster or bigger than it needs to be, or worried about it. Then you are more pushing it away or being not kind towards that. Like for me, I used to grind my teeth a lot when I was younger, and I'm sure it was a lot to do school or whatever the stresses in life. I used to, and it was used to be so bad. I get this kind of like I had to like massage my jaws here. It's like it was so painful sometimes, just in front of the ears, and it was almost like manifesting as a headache. When I became a monk, 2011, I became a novice. I thought, well, like, okay, now I have time. I have time to work on this now. And I started to do this thing because quite often when we grind our teeth, it really happens just when you're falling asleep. When you go into deep sleep, like REM sleep, your body gets paralyzed. You don't grind your teeth then. But what happens is, when you're just starting to drift off, you have a tiny bit of mindfulness there before you fall in sleep, so to speak. You're drifting into this unconscious state. There's still awareness when you're sleeping, but that moment, all kind of things starts happening. Sometimes you're just drifting off, and the body jerks a little bit, and then you're like, oh, it's time. Now it's gonna go. Now it's the last relaxation. Now it's gonna fall asleep, right? Or it does start to do those things where it starts, I'm going to start grinding my teeth again. So what I did, I started to touch myself, like, I'm noticing I'm starting to do it again. So I literally touched my face here on those jaw muscles. I was like, oh, I don't need to do this. I'm just like, oh, it's okay. Just relax. And then it's like, I've started to fall again, and it started comes, just relax. It's okay. So do those kind of things. You can literally touch the places of your body where you feel it. Stomach is one spot, your neck, chest, or your throat if you feel anxiety, wherever it is. We need to try to recognize those things, and they don't start manifesting, become too big.
Okay, thank you, Ajahn. I can tell that you've done a lot of trial and error, and I appreciate your expertise. And the second thing was about thoughts. One thing I found is that often we might be advised to not really follow the thoughts, but sometimes I feel like there is a need for me to process things that have maybe happened in my day. And it's not until I take that time out of meditation to maybe start to relax that things start popping up that I realize from the day past or the day before. And I always feel like I need that process to think it through. Would you say that's delusion, or would it be valid that sometimes we need to process our thoughts?
Well, look, it's quite automatic. Those things, like, it's the same thing. Like if you try to remember somebody's name, it's like, what is it? It's not coming. And then it comes to you. It's the same thing, and it's like when you stop and these solutions come to you. The process is quite automatic. So it's not like it's almost like it is mini insights. So it's okay. It's fine. I mean, I'm not promoting this all. It's not valid, or don't do that. It's automatic. But the thing is, don't trust it too much. Sometimes we tend to just like, oh, these are my thoughts, it must be true. Like, we don't doubt our doubt. If you have a doubt in your mind, who is like, once in a while it's good to like, who the hell is this person, giving me this doubt? Why can't I just like, Why can't I just doubt the doubting mind? And so it's the same thing. Try to have it this kind of like, oh, it's good. Okay, yeah, no, that's true. That feels like a valid insight. I was not kind, and I could see there's like, oh, I did this, and this thing, and that's why this person is miffed at me. So, it gives you feedback. It's a mini insight. Fine. But don't... it's a better thing is almost like a devalue a lot of thinking. Don't get too involved with it. Yeah. Anybody else? Dun, dun, dun.
I got a question from the chat. Can I read it to you?
Sure.
What does being mindful mean in connection to your early explanation?
What does being mindful, how does it connect with my early explanation? I don't know. I don't remember half of the stuff I say. What being mindful is, mindful of whatever the mind state is, whether you call it mindfulness, awareness. So we have to take two kind of things. Well, we can be mindful on day-to-day life. Once in a while, it's good to pull back yourself from the headspace you are in. Like instead of being paying attention that the thing which is just like very pressing at you, bring your mindfulness. Have this kind of back of your head awareness. Like, hang on, I can pay attention to something else. So, for example, if you're really, really stressed, like we have all kind of things in life which is really it causes us anxiety and anger and all kind of things. Instead of like, oh, I should be really like I'm doing this. It was like, hang on, back of your mind have this awareness, mindfulness. Like, I can pay attention to something else. What could it be? Perhaps it's just a walking. I'm currently walking and I'm going some direction. Why do I have to be thinking about this over and over and over again? This worry I have. Why don't you just walk for 5 minutes? And then you realize it gives you input. Like, I don't have to carry this piece of shit everywhere. Ajahn Chah always used these kind of similes. He, because he was a rural boy, and so he used to, have these things where like people value chicken shit. At one point in the future, there will be a point where there's like everybody's carrying a chicken shit everywhere, and they think it's like, oh, it's so precious. Then they put it in their pockets and they go like, chicken shit, it's good. And he's, and then they start trading this chicken shit, and it's like, oh, it's like this really valuable commodity, and it's like everybody who's got the most shit, the wealthiest person in the world, and then there's like, oh yes. Once in a while, recognize that you carrying this shit in your front pocket, and you've been smelling. It's like, why does it smell like shit? My life is shit. It's like, well, because you're carrying it everywhere you go. Once in a while, just say, life is all right. Just pay attention somewhere else. Pay attention to your feet while you're walking. Do something. You don't have to be in that headspace. So change your direction. So this kind of thing where we can do certain things. We can do kindness. We can direct our mind into more valuable things than shit. So, but all that activity, most of it should come before you're meditating. Meditation, as we're doing here, it is really not doing anything. Don't do anything. Don't do anything. Don't do anything. After that, the thinking, you can start then, it's like, okay, you have to switch it on again. So try to get into this kind of, idea in the back of your mind. Okay, I'm meditating. Now is the time to devalue the thinking. Now is the time not to don't get too, much involved. If these insights come, sure, that's fine. They will stay with me if they're important. But don't think you have to, somehow keep it in mind. It will stay there. But the day-to-day life, that kind of mindfulness is to just brings, it's a certain kind of awareness that you can do something about your mind. I have no idea whether I answered that question, but hey, it was something nice I said, so that's fine. All right.
Wonderful.
All right. Anything else? Gloria, was there anything else on the chat?
No, but can I ask one more? It's like, how to devalue your thoughts, or like, because for me, it's like, I feel like I often feel like I pay too much attention to my thought or my intense emotions, but it's like kind of, I don't know how to really devalue them. Does that make sense?
Yeah. You can have you just need to, the strong emotions are difficult because if you really have a lot of, I'm just using anger, I'm not saying you have it, but if you really have a lot of anger, when you're angry, you're in this swamp of anger. You so to speak, you're too deep in there. So what we have to do is, we try to recognize those things that when they come, I don't need to hold on to this so long. So the work has to happen before you get into there. So once you're in that swamp of me, this is important, my thinking, my life is like this, it's me. Once you're there, it's really difficult. You're so, like the water level is up to here. You don't see anything. So we need to lower the water level a little bit. So the work has to happen before. So you keep working on it. What can I do that when this thing keeps coming, what can I do? Not to be aggressively trying to push it away, but what could be, and this is for yourself. I'm not telling you the right answer here that I'm like, this is how you do it. You need to find it yourself. What could work for you? Ask yourself. Maybe the mind, you go to sleep, it's like, and ask yourself before you go to sleep, what can I do about this? Or whatever you think the good question is. And the mind will give you the answer. Your mind is quite smart, but you are getting too much involved. Another thing, which is actively doing something. If you don't think that's just not rubbish, it's not going to work. Okay, then it's active doings. You can do something like, you think, you're like, okay, I'm doing this again. Like you're in that headspace, and you're like, it's really deep into this self shit. It's like, okay, literally, when you're walking, have it back of your mind, just program in your mind, when I'm walking again from this place, I will just pay attention to my feet. And it gives you this kind of feedback that I've been doing this too, I'm too much in my head. So try to find this kind of like how you can find this kind of space of quietness. Whatever it is for you. But look, trust yourself. It's not like you're going to find a guru who's going to guide you there. You need to do the work yourself. But it is interesting. If you go to bed and ask yourself a question, it might just give you the answer. Was there anything else? Did something come up in the chat? Or am I Wong? Gloria Wong? All right.
Yes. One more question. What about pain? Physical pain. How can we pay less attention to it and not talk about it? Do we get attached to our pain? Or is it caused by other types of grasping or karma?
There's many things there to be. We cannot really say that everything is your karma, or what comes from the karma. Not everything is your karma. Things are nature. Like your body belongs to nature. When you get born as a human, you're going to get sick. I'm very sick sometimes, Is it my fault? It's not really. Is it my body's fault? Not really. It's just nature. What can you do? The only thing you can really do is, the Buddha said there is two kinds of errors. So there's an error of mental error, and then there is the dukkha of the body. So when you have these physical pains, so the only thing you can really do is pay attention to the mind pain. The mind has a lot of power, but really it has to start from a place where you're not so worried about the pain. When we get older, we tend to be more and more worried about the pain. It's going to last longer, and it's like ways it's going to lead. That's the thing what you need to work on. Work on the worry part, the second error. So there is a mental error and a physical error. You cannot avoid getting sick. That is just a human body. Accept that. But the one thing you can do is to pay attention with this kind of, what is this mental pain I have against, towards this the pain? Is it worry? Is it causing me thinking that it's going to get more and more? It's like identify it a little bit, and then just looking at it, actually, it becomes less. That really is the only way what we can do about it. But there is ways that when your meditation is really, really deep, the body tends to heal itself. And you can feel it sometimes. It doesn't even have to be that deep. When the body relaxes, when it has this kind of, you're able to let it go and do its thing, it will align itself easier. So just, again, trust your body as well. Let it be, let it do its thing, and it will heal itself easier that way. But eventually, you won't be able to do anything with it. Your body will get sick and it will die. So now, just do the work now, and whatever happens in the future, it will help you. So that's an encouragement for everybody with the meditation. Even if you think that meditation is not really working, I'm not sure whether I should continue, look, please do. We're all going to face difficult things in life, whether it's mental things or physical things. They will come. If you do the work now, it will be a lot easier in the future. So just continue. You'll be right. Done. Going once, twice. That's it. All right. Thank you for everybody. Nice to see everybody.